Welcome back to another stream, and today I'm just going to be playing another lot of RL. Currently just doing training to, you know, sort out stuff and warm up.
By the way, we're not done yet. We may have lost in the winner bracket, but we still have the losers bracket to look forward to, and technically have a chance of qualifying. And because we've won 2 series in the winners bracket so far, that puts us automatically
Yeah, that just doesn't put me high.
in which we will play Fox Bulldog, who happen to be
No, I'm trying to sort.
team for this side.
Alright, I'll play
Let's put us straight into
with
base Lions Gaming. Let's watch the highlights of
my full potential boost.
Wow, that's sick. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, there's one. That's a double tap.
Whoa, what an angle. Good angle, I mean.
I'm trying to get a decent aerial. I don't even know how I hit that angle, not gonna lie. Didn't catch it there. This flick was off though. It wasn't even that powerful.
Good stuff. Good stuff, boys. Come on. Oh, that's my fault. It's alright. Nice. Good play, good play, good play. Yeah, guys. Oh, good. Yeah. Close, close, close. Back down. Oh, good try, good try. Got it. Right, yeah. Back. Good shot. Oh my god. Oh, no. No boost. Yes. Yes. Goal, boys. Come on, nice.
That's
I like the part. After an intense 3-1 series, we move on to play fifth. We actually dropped down from the quarterfinals of the winners bracket, so this is definitely going to be the hardest match we'll be having so far. There's no doubt about that. So let's see how we deal with the situation in round 5 of the tournament. Yeah, go. Good chip.
I literally didn't mean to do that. I was gonna do a flip reset. But I guess I just dunked.
What's I even saying? The what on the what? Oh. Wait, what? Noah. Good.
Francis? Francis?
Yo.
Yeah, I went to go have lunch. I keep having this really nice lunch. I don't know if I told you.
No, you didn't.
So it's pancakes, yeah? But what's in it is Nutella, bananas, and then there's golden syrup over the top, and then over the top of the golden syrup is whipped cream. Then when you fold it over one side, you put on honey, and then you put it all together, and when you take a bite, it's so nice. It's like the best thing ever. What the fuck did you just say?
I don't know.
Oh, I did my first proper redirect.
Have
in
you got
trading.
custom buttons?
What, in RL?
Yes.
Yeah.
What buttons you use?
What my controls?
Yeah, I have the best buttons.
I basically have it all normal. But I don't have air roll right or left. I just use the in the air roll.
What's your air roll?
My air roll is what's it, square? It used to mine. No, mine used to be L1, but that's the leaderboard.
Oh. Yeah, I use R1 to boost, L1 to air roll.
That's stupid.
That's what you know. All the controller pros.
Yeah.
That's what they use.
That's what do you use for aerial? Sorry.
No, like the aerial lines, like what pro uses. So it's R1 to boost and L1 to air roll.
That's pretty stupid. I mean, how? Just how?
Because if you get
Can I just say, if I'm better than you like this, that means I'm gonna stay in my controls like this. Otherwise, it'll be weird.
Yeah.
My controls are weird, but not too weird. Oh, 72 multi-barrel graphic. Yeah, but
are literally really bad. It's just so that new players are good at the game. It's just like to help new players. That's the only reason.
Can I just say?
That's why I changed it.
Can I just say? If the default binds are bad, explain why I'm better than you.
Because you've been playing longer. It's not all about the binds, is it? I've literally only been playing these binds for like 15 minutes.
Right, what's the binds?
I've never played against you with the binds. Like, at all, ever.
Alright, tell me the binds. Drive forward.
What?
So drive forward
all
is
default. Just change air roll and boost.
air roll is what?
Reset, short. Air roll,
L1.
L1, boost, R1, and thingy,
And what?
reset short, D-pad down.
Reset shot. Down. And then, of course, L1 is my leaderboard thing. Scoreboard, that why not? Alright. See if this changes much. Oh my god, I keep pressing. It's not too bad.
It's okay when you get used to it.
I can deal with this.
The only
I
thing
keep
is to
trying
get
to-
used to it. It's the annoying bit. Because you have to get used to whole new settings.
Oh, this is actually weird. Oh, I just tried to air roll with square.
I can't air roll with square. It's too hard to press. Like, how the hell am I meant to be pressing O and square at the same time?
It's not too hard. You have to have
without
fingers to do that.
What?
I'm kidding. So I do power slide a lot.
Yeah, so do I use power slide.
But
I use it to turn, otherwise I'm not no slow coach turning boy.
no, this is it's alright. It's just that I want to power slide, but I have to press square to do it, and I usually only had to press square to do either. Wait, option, controls, change bindings, where's power slide? Power slide. Where the frick is power slide? Power slide. L1. Right, so I don't have square to anything.
Power slide is just drifting. I don't get what they call it power slide.
I just did a sick coxer pinch. Well, it wasn't exactly coxer pinch, it was just a wall pinch, but it was a freestyle wall pinch. Oh god. Oh yeah, I need to check something.
This ball, why is it going so fucking slow in the air to aerial? When am I gonna get a ball that going that slow in a real game? That don't go in.
This is the first time I've probably proper changed my settings. Yes, I do suck at Rocket League.
They didn't realize the level of mechanical ability people would develop, so the default controller settings are pretty dumbed down, and for some reason they're still like that. But the number of pro players that actually use default controller settings is pretty slim.
Are you watching the YouTube video about that process?
Which we'll get into in a little bit. So the question is, what controller settings are right for you? Settings is so you can do complex mechanical tasks easier, but probably more importantly is you can do them faster. And this all kind of depends on how you comfortably hold your controller when you're playing Rocket League. For the sake of sanity, I'm going to say there's 3 different ways you can hold a controller and play Rocket League. There is the default way, which is how I play, where index finger controls both of your top triggers and bumpers. In my opinion, this feels the most natural and comfortable. But the major downside is you can't use your L1 and R1 at the same time as you use your L2 and your R2. So the next method we have of playing Rocket League is where your index finger and your middle finger operate these buttons simultaneously. And then your thumb is free to work all of these buttons. Now this does give you more control over your top triggers, but for some people like myself, it feels incredibly unnatural and actually hurts after playing for any amount of time. But if this feels natural to you, I would say go for it, because it does give you a greater access of all of your buttons. And then we have the third method of playing Rocket League, which I just find so unnatural, and that is the claw method. Now this method is the most buttons to use at any given moment in Rocket League, and the way that this works is that the index finger will basically cover 3 buttons. Your R1, your triangle, and your circle, and your middle finger will handle your R2, and your thumb can be circle, and triangle. You can do anything. These 2 fingers cover all of these buttons, and sometimes cover the same button. Well, it's so confusing. I don't know how people do this. So if you're a claw user, this guide probably isn't for you, because there are so many more
Who the hell
possibilities.
uses it? No, I used to use claw and Rocket League stuff. Who does in their right mind? I don't know, I wasn't.
So I'm about to tell you what the most popular methods are that pro players use on their controllers. But any keybinds are acceptable as long as they allow you to do complex mechanical tasks that you'll need later in the game, like fast aerials, air dribbles, half flips, and especially air roll shots. You basically need to be able to press your boost, your jump, your ball cam, your accelerate, your reverse, and your air roll and your power slide all at the same time, and your turn. Now these changes are important to make even if you are currently a lower level player, because making these keybind changes earlier makes it easier to transition into higher level mechanics as you put more hours into the game. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. Please turn on notifications, be part of the notification squad, because those guys are honestly amazing. Now let's get into some settings. Now pretty much regardless of what controller or grip you go with, the most popular move is to move your power slide and air roll from square over to L1. Now this is by far the most common keybind change among pro players. And this is you never need to air roll and reverse at the same time, whereas there are several situations where you will need to boost, jump, and air roll at the same time. And so it gets kind of awkward if you have it on its default of square.
It's just not a comfortable grip. And on top of that, moving power slide over to L1 allows you to boost and power slide at the same time, which is a lot more needed as you get into higher level gameplay. And even in instances where you need to power slide and burst at the same time, you can just briefly bring your middle finger up to the L2 and power slide right quick. Making this change is going to help a lot with your mechanicals. Half loops become more efficient because you can boost through them as you're doing them. Your air triples are going to be more precise because you can boost and air roll at the same time. And basically any mid-air adjustment is going to become more efficient because it's easier to boost and air roll. Now, for the people that you saw on the list that had their air roll still set to square, the majority of those players play claw. The next most popular move the pros make is moving the boost button. Now, this is where people that play with their middle finger and their index finger on the triggers comes into play. The most common move is people with that grip style move their boost from circle up to R1. If this is comfortable for you, it makes the most ergonomical sense because it allows you to boost and jump at the same time, which helps immensely for things like fast aerials, ground to air dribbles, and just high-speed shots in general. Now, again, I can't comfortably use this grip position, but if I did, I would take after Verge and move my ball cam from triangle to square, because then you can more ergonomically lay your thumb across your jump button.
Ball cam.
As opposed to having it
Where's ball cam?
like this. It would also have the added
Triangle.
of laying your thumb closer to your
No, I'm
stick,
changing
allowing you to look around the map quicker, or use your reverse cam button. But again, I can't comfortably use this grip position, so you guys try it out. Let me know what you think if it works. I currently still have my boost balance in circle, and this is kind of how I have to get over this hurdle. So I have to keep my thumb over my circle, and then I roll it to the X or the triangle as I'm playing. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not comfortable, but it does allow me to press jump, boost, and ball cam all at the same time. If I could go back in time to a younger tryhouse, I would probably move my boost from circle over to square. But at this point, I have so many hours on these controller configurations that I am hesitant to make the switch because I know it's going to hurt in the short term. And again, it's just much more ergonomical to lay your thumb across square and X at the same time, and you still have access to ball cam, and you can have quicker access over to your camera stick. Seriously, the next time I'm really slumping in rank, I'm making the change over to square. Now, a less common change, but something people do here with the boost, is they will actually invert the boost from their jump button. So they would move boost over to X and then either put jump on square or circle. But this is all kind of a matter of preference and how your hand feels on the controller. So the next two keybind changes are completely dependent on what you did previously and aren't even really necessary until like much higher level gameplay. Air roll left and right. Now these work slightly differently than air roll. Whenever you hold your analog stick to the left or right when you're jumping, your car will spin horizontally. Now, when you engage air roll, it stops spinning horizontally and just focuses on rolling your car. If you have air roll left or right bound, it works a little bit differently. So basically, if your analog stick is moving to the left when you hold the air roll button, you'll air roll left. If you hold it to the right, it'll air roll right. Now, if you have air roll bound and you
Okay.
hold your analog stick left, your
Whatever
car
she said.
as you're air rolling right, which isn't possible with air roll, allowing you to do a tornado spin. Now this technically allows you to move your car in more precise way. It moves left as you're air rolling right, which isn't possible with air roll, allowing you to do a tornado spin. Now this technically allows you to move your car in more precise ways and allows you to do more mechanics than you would normally, such as tornado spins, crazy
Oh my god, my name's Francis. Oh my
or a
god.
freestyler. A lot of people get by here by just binding one of the air roll buttons, since you only technically need one of them to do stalls and tornado spins. Where you put this all depends on the keybinds you used previously, but the other keybinds definitely need to take precedence until you get to the highest level of gameplay. Now, I'm not going to cover dead zone insensitivity in this video simply because that is a whole other topic, but let me know in the comments if you want a video that breaks down what the pro settings are for this. And as always, if you haven't What if I told you I can make you physically faster than your opponents? What if I told you Psyonix has been crippling you this entire time by making your dead zone 0.30 by default? Or 0.20 as the most recent update. Some people go hundreds of hours before they even touch their dead zone settings. Usually people start off with their camera settings or their keybinds, which I've done videos covering both of those topics already. And meanwhile, the dead zone settings look kind of unimportant at first glance. However, almost every single pro player has non-default dead zone settings. So what makes these settings so important? Hey guys, welcome back, and today I'm going to be covering every one of these settings. But before I do, make sure you leave a like on this video. Lightly stimulate that subscribe button. And that sounded inappropriate. So the first setting on our list is steering sensitivity. And I'm going to kind of talk about steering sensitivity and aerial sensitivity as one because they function much in the same way. So sensitivity and dead zone are related, but they're not the same thing. And to kind of illustrate how the concept works, I'm going to use my controller overlay and the dead zone visual eye is retrieved by rocket science. So this little ball in the center of this red square represents your analog stick. And the red square represents your dead zone. I'm going to get into the dead zone of what that is more specifically later, but dead zone is how far you have to move your analog stick before it registers as an in-game movement. As you can see here, I'm steering to the left. And so all of this is dead space that is not going to register in-game. So now what sensitivity does, it controls how fast you accelerate in those directions. A higher sensitivity means you have to move the stick less for the same amount of steering, but it also makes it harder to make small adjustments because you go through your range of motion quicker. At the highest setting of 10, it's like flipping on a light switch. You go from not moving in that direction to moving in that direction as fast as possible. It's easiest just to see by moving your wheels on the ground. It becomes physically impossible to get just a slight turn. Instead, your wheels turn the entire way. With the lowest sensitivity, 1 being the default, it's easier to make precise adjustments, but you'd have to move your stick farther for larger adjustments. Again, this is easiest to see just by looking at your wheels on the ground and moving your analog stick. You can get a full range of motion, but it takes more time to go fully in one direction, as you have to push the analog stick further. Now, if we analyze what the pros use for this setting, it does come largely down to preference. There's not one sensitivity setting that overwhelmingly takes it. However, almost none of the pros go above 2.0 sensitivity on either aerial or steering, and an even greater majority of those players stay at 1.5 or below. Over half. Now, some people customize their sensitivity settings separately from each other. However, I put so many hours into the game with them being at a 1-to-1 sensitivity ratio that I'm afraid that if I separate those two numbers, that it's going to make it even more difficult to adjust to the new sensitivity. So in general, stick to anywhere between 1 and 1.5. And now we're getting to the good stuff. Controller dead zone. So we already know that this red square represents the dead zone. The default used to be 0.30, which as of the most recent update is now 0.20, which means you have to move your analog stick 20% of the way before it even registers in game. And for the rest of the time I'm talking about dead zone, every time you see 0.3 or 0.2, always think of that as a percentage, because that is how far you have to move your controller before anything registers in game. Now, these yellow squares represent a true direction, meaning if your analog stick movement falls somewhere within that range, it will flip in the true forward direction, side direction, back direction, instead of a diagonal flip. And the green space represents all other usable area that would constitute a diagonal flip. It's also important to know the raw input versus the game input. Raw input is where your analog stick is physically being held, and the game input is how the game processes it. And because of the difference of the dead zone, they are not one and the same. Your car does not move exactly where it should based on where you move your analog stick. But this gets better the lower the dead zone you have. At its highest setting of 0.75, which the visualizer won't even go that high, so just imagine the dead zone even bigger than that. Several problems start to occur, and some of them get better as you lower your dead zone, but some of them exist even if you have your dead zone at its lowest possible setting. The first problem is that you have to move your stick 75% of the way to a direction before the game even recognizes a movement. No matter how quickly you move your analog stick, that is going to create a real-world delay that is going to make you slower than your opponent. This becomes especially noticeable when you're moving from full left to full right, because you're essentially doubling the amount of dead zone. The second problem you get with a higher dead zone is the narrowing of your range of acceleration in a direction. Because 75% of your space is wasted, your analog stick only has 25% of its real-world physical range to cram in all the degrees of movement it has. So it becomes a lot like having your sensitivity settings too high, where moving towards one direction is either fully on or off. Theoretically, you can still steer in all directions, but it becomes harder to do so because your range is compressed. So your movements will start to look choppier because you are immediately going to your fullest range. The third problem that arises from having a high dead zone is that the yellow square true direction sections become so large that they compress the range in which you can diagonally flip, meaning that the raw input you hold the analog stick at and the angle that the game processes become further and further from each other, making it harder to get the desired angle of your diagonal flip. So basically, it becomes harder to flip accurately diagonally because it doesn't make sense that your car would flip look in that direction because you're moving your analog stick in that direction. Which, if you've ever had that happen, is very frustrating. The last most severe problem that arises from having too high of a dead zone is the loss of diagonal movement. At its highest setting, you actually lose the ability to turn diagonally at all. It can literally only operate from left to right and up to down, which again, the visualizer won't even show you 0.75, but this is 0.75 dead zone. Diagonal air rolls stop working, can literally only operate within those yellow squares. The more you lower your dead zone below 0.75, the more diagonal movement range and top speed you get back. And it continues to scale down all the way to 0. Point 2, we've got some better diagonal movement range. What the important takeaway is from here is that if you're at the old controller dead zone default of 0.30, that is 30% of your diagonal top speed that you don't have available, and somebody with a lower dead zone does. You are at the disadvantage. The majority of all Portal players use a controller dead zone 0.10 or lower, with the most popular choice by far being 0.05. But before you put your dead zone at 0.05 just because your favorite pro player does, it's important that you test your specific controller. The springs and analog sticks wear out over time, and so if you've had the same controller forever, chances are you're not going to be able to achieve that 0.05 dead zone. So in general, I highly advocate you set your dead zone setting to as low as your controller will allow. To test if you can use a dead zone, you can go into a replay file, set your view to fly, and adjust your dead zone as low as you can without the camera moving by itself. If the camera starts walking away on its own, then you've gone too low. In game, this would translate to your car steering by itself. Not a good thing. If you're on PC, you can test it by using the dead zone visualizer that Rocket Science made. I'll put the link down below in the description. And if you don't want to spend the time to test your own controller, you could just set it to 0.10 or 10%, because that seems to be good even for...
Oh my, I've got the best settings ever.
What, from watching that video?
Well, it's not over, but yeah.
How long was you watching that for?
Not too long. Do you want to see my controls?
What are they?
I'll screenshot. I'll screenshot that. No, that's not what I want to screenshot. Screenshot this. That. Alright, and then screenshot that. And go all the way down. Screenshot that. Alright, I'm sending this to you.
Controllers, like my 5-year-old controller I just lost, rest in peace. Now, before we get into the cross dead zone versus square dead zone debate, I did want to cover the last dead zone, which is dodge dead zone. This controls how far you have to move your analog stick before another button press becomes either a flip or a jump. At its lowest setting, you barely have to push the controller.
Why have you got on push to talk?
Zone, and it'll count as a flip, which, to be honest, seems like it'd be pretty hard to do a fast area. At its highest setting, you have to have the analog stick pressed fully forward before it'll register as a flip. Otherwise, you just get a jump. The majority of pro players keep their dodge dead zone at 0.50 or higher, and I'm assuming some of that is because the old default was 0.50, but it also makes it harder to fast aerial in a split second if you have too low of a dodge dead zone. If you find yourself accidentally backflipping when you're trying to fast aerial,
0.50, so that means I'll put in 6.5. So that means
Virtual.
the best default setting Psyonix has. And let me know if you found this video useful down below in the comments. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. At the time of recording, we're at 5,700 subscribers, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys that are in my notification squad. And make sure you stop by the live stream. I stream 6 days a week over on Twitch. Details down below in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.
Have you copied my controls?
No, I'm not having the same ones.
Why?
Cause I like mine.
These are literally the best controls you can do in the game.
Pardon?
These are literally the best controls you can do.
No, yeah, no. Then, it depends. That's like saying my controls in Fortnite are the best. Because they could be the best for one person, but it doesn't mean it's the best for everybody else.
This is the best for... how old is your PS4?
Like a year and a bit.
Yeah, about me too.
Pardon?
Me too. Roughly.
Yeah, but I did have a PS4 before that. I just bought a new one.
I didn't. I had a PS3 before my PS4, and I had a PS2. I've never had an Xbox, but I've played on Xbox. Oh, I can't do my start. I don't think. No, I can't do my start.
Oh my god, this girl is so dumb.
What?
Basically, she just said she has an iPhone 12 Pro.
Yeah.
Yet she's using Android emojis. Bro, what are you on about? Just like, no one cares what phone you have. Stop trying to flex when you have a fucking, like, nobody cares if you have an Android. Just say it. Don't say you have an iPhone 12 Pro when you have a fucking Android. Gee.
Yeah.
She's like 9 as well.
I was gonna say, oh, okay, what Android do you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Wait. Arrow right there. So if I go here, and then yes, I just flip reset. Now if I have a little bit more money to do practicing sessions, and then I might be able to do sick ass stuff like Pulse OSM and Mercy and Sunless and stuff like that. And of course the pros, but if I get some like training on how to do ceiling shots and other mechanical things like flip resets, things like that, I might be able to be pretty good at this game. Because I don't come natural to mechanics, but things, simpler mechanics, I'm epic at. I want to learn how to do a half flip.
Turn up for the watch. Pretty plain Jane. Lamborghini team. Who just invited me? Wait, so someone invited me.
It's Septix.
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm gonna join him. Join him.
Soon.
Oh, I can't. I joined you.
Get asked this question a lot on my stream. Crow, how do you do the half flip? Blah blah blah. I know it's been around for a very long time. There's a lot of other videos out there about the half flip, But I still get asked this question, and I just want to be able to point people in the right direction. And maybe if you're new to the game, and some of the other tutorials didn't explain it very well, maybe I can explain it for you in my own terms. The first thing you're going to want to do is, starting from basics, you just need to be able to cancel your flip. So, you know, you can do front flips, back flips. That's tutorial stuff. You can push the opposite direction you flipped immediately after, and effectively cancel the momentum at least up to halfway. So a back flip will land on its hood, and a front flip will land on its hood instead of the wheels. You need to be able to do that.
Wait.
If you flip a little bit diagonally, you might accidentally half flip on your own. So that's just a habit of mine, but we'll get to that. Just focus on canceling your flip, making sure that the moment you double tap X and your car has begun a flip, push the opposite direction on your left stick. Or if you're using a keyboard, you know, WASD, if you're holding W, flip forward, just press S, and you have to back up, just press W right after you flip. Once you've got that done, essentially you're going to focus on making sure that if you're half flipping backwards, which I feel is the most viable way, you don't really do many recoveries where you're like running the net and flip like that to get on the net. That situation, while it looks cool and looks really efficient, that never really happens. That's not how you want to rotate the net. So let's say the ball goes flying over your head and you need to get back and use all your boost. So that's a much more applicable situation, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys right now. So essentially, once you know how to cancel your flip, you're going to do a corner flip, either to the left or the right. You choose which direction you're going to do this based on what's more comfortable, what you're more accurate with. Maybe you accidentally barrel roll, you go to the left, you know, you accidentally push too far, you're more comfortable on the right side. But just figure out what's comfortable for you, which direction, which corner you like flipping over.
You know what? I didn't do too bad.
And maybe it also depends on if you're near a wall. Like if you need a half flip and you're approaching the wall like this, you definitely can't half flip to the left. You're just gonna smack the wall. So find out what's comfortable. Try both if you want. But effectively, what you're gonna do is in the middle of your corner flip, your wheels are facing the ceiling and they're kind of level with the ceiling. You're just gonna cancel your flip, and your car will automatically roll. You don't need to air roll. Nothing extra. Just wait about a half second for your car to flip like this. Just wheels up, belly up like you're playing dead. Just wait for that moment in your flip, and then push off your stick. And you should have flip no problem. You might need a little bit of correction with the left stick at the end, based on how early or late you have flipped. Odds are if you flip too early in your half flip, you'll do this. You do like a pseudo wheelie. If you flip too late, you're going to land really sideways. So just keep that timing down, keep practicing it over and over. You can incorporate some boost if you want, and you can incorporate air roll. It doesn't hurt to.
That's the exact phone I'm
Especially if you feel like you
going.
messed up your takeoff. You can do that. So,
Oh, I know that's the pro.
to show that for you guys, that's how I do it. Those are the steps
No,
that
the
go
normal.
into my process. And once again, 3 steps. Corner flip. Wait to be upside down. Cancel your flip. And yeah, that's pretty simple. Let me know in the comments if you want to see any other tips.
Oh, well, we were. It's very nice.
Thanks for watching.
Telling me to join his party. I want him to join mine. I'd rather to leave it.
Let's just join his party.
I'm gonna be reacting
Oh,
to
my bum
fans'
hurts.
Rocket League montages because
We're joining his
all I
PS party.
Do you guys suck at Rocket League, or are some of y'all better than I am? So to test this out, I made a form of montages, and I posted it to my Discord, Twitter, and Instagram. But with over 1,000 responses, I wouldn't be able to go through all of them, so I used just a random number generator.
Yo
Hello?
guys, Plunder Trios are out.
Yeah, Plunder Trees has been out for ages.
But my favorite two
Yeah,
Yeah.
I deleted it, didn't I?
guys can
So
support their YouTube channels after watching if you don't enjoy their content. But before we do get any further,
Why don't you play Rocket League?
today's video sponsor over at no, I'm just joking. No sponsor, but make
Yeah, I've changed my keybinds, so Septics, you might be better than me.
subscribers. We're currently growing really fast, and if we can keep up that pace, we'll be at 1 million in early September.
right, can we go into a map?
And I've been thinking about what to
Yo,
do
all
for
my kill
1
streak
million
stuff are
subscriber
all
video,
here.
and a lot of people have been
So
saying to play with PewDiePie, which I thought would be impossible until this happened yesterday.
got all my loadouts.
Play some Rocket League. Musty is pro. Okay, I'll play with Musty, yeah, for sure. I need pro advice.
So when he was streaming, someone brought it up to him, and he was actually down. So this collab could actually be possible, because PewDiePie's been playing a lot of Rocket League lately. But I need you guys to do me a favor if you would like to see that happen. So on this post on my Instagram, I need
Francis,
everyone
can we
to
go
tag
into a map?
PewDiePie in the
Or
comments,
is
and if you
it-
can,
no, I
also
don't know.
like the post and
What
share
you,
it with PewDiePie.
invite me then.
Also, without spamming him or
Wait,
anything,
you're
feel
on?
free to mention it to him when he's
What?
listening, because it was
Oh,
just
you guys in Call of
all
Duty?
band together to get his attention.
Why Call of Duty? It's so boring at the moment. We played for ages. Fine, I'll come on.